do affirmations really work? Do these positive affirmations really work? Or are they all that they're hyped up to be? Or is it just a bunch of, but I say affirmations and then I hear this voice and I don't believe him, so I stop doing them. Greetings and welcome. I am Dr. Nielsen, founder of the Intense Cleanse and Nielsen Holistic. On this video, I'm going to be sharing with you what really happens inside of the brain and why we didn't know what was really going on to see if affirmations really work. I'll also be giving you the answer to improving your affirmations, if they really work. So to understand that, let's talk about a couple of definitions. First of all, functional MRI. It's a huge word. Functional magnetic resonance imaging. To shorten it down, little f, big M, big R, big I, fMRI. Well, what is it? Functional MRI is a device. It's a MRI, but it's functional. It's real time. It shows us what's going on in the brain or the brain activity, and we can measure levels of oxygenation and blood flow. So as I'm speaking to you, you're listening or you're watching this video, and this input is all coming into the brain. Well, depending on the areas that need more oxygen, those areas are going to go and feed that portion of the brain with blood. They need oxygen, got to fire it up with blood. So consequently, we can see where that activity is happening real time in the brain. A comparison would be you have a family and they're going to have a baby and mom is pregnant and they want to find out what's the gender. And they also want to find out if that baby is healthy. What do you use? You go and get an ultrasound. And the ultrasound tech will go through and they'll find out that sure enough that baby is healthy, and real time they can actually see what is going on with that cute little baby. Same type of thing, real time, we can now see what's going on in the brain through functional magnetic resonance imaging, fMRI, shorten it down. Some cool things that we've learned and we've seen, there's a really cool video. I would recommend going to see it. It's on YouTube. It's called Is Sugar Toxic? Is Sugar Toxic? And it was done by CBS News, a report by Sanjay Gupta. Towards the end of the video, you'll see there's a researcher, a neurologist by the name of Eric Stice from the Oregon Institute of Research, Oregon Research Institute, and he actually hooks Sanjay Gupta up to the functional MRI and shows where sugar affects the brain. It's the same areas as cocaine. All right. We've also learned some pretty cool things. There was a researcher by the name of Avi Peled, one of the world-renowned neuroscientists. I mean, this guy, he knows what's going on with neuroscience. He actually showed at the International Association of Neurology and Rehabilitation, he showed that when you learn something, it takes 4 times longer to unlearn that something. 4 times longer. And all this we're learning, see, the past 50 years has been blown away by just the past 5 years because of fMRI. We can now see what's truly going on inside the brain. So, now that you know a little bit about the brain, let's talk about what's going on inside of the brain. And I made this really cool picture for you. Here we have the front of the brain, or the prefrontal cortex. Outside of the brain there's the cortex. I've drawn some blue lines here. This is motor. This is what we would call the precentral gyrus. The precentral gyrus. And I'll just put precentral gyrus. You don't need to know that. And then we have post-central gyrus. I'm going to put post. Now, very important about these parts of the brain. The pre deals with motor or movement. You know, I'm moving right now. It's firing that precentral gyrus. So we'll put motor, and then we'll put sensory. All right, now you know more than a 5th grader. You know a lot more. Also, I've drawn some other important things. So again, motor, sensory, front of the brain, back of the brain. Just to give you a little bit of reference, that cerebellum, that's all for balance. That cerebellum, here's the brain stem. Right here, I've drawn the nucleus accumbens. And I'm going to actually write that out because you need to know that. The nucleus accumbens. ACC. The nucleus accumbens. Now, when you do, or when you say a positive affirmation, when you say, I can do this, I am this, what fires up is the nucleus accumbens. You might have also heard of the nucleus accumbens as a pleasure center, one of the areas of pleasure. So when you say something, it actually does fire in the nucleus accumbens. Now, this is really cool. This was taught by Brandon Brock, a neuroscientist, functional neurologist. Now, what I'm going to share with you is the next key component of what's going on. I mean, this is the good stuff. This is now proof by Jerry Leisman, PhD, so Dr. Jerry Leisman and Dr. Robert Malillo. Both of these doctors taught at that same conference that I talked about, Avi Peled, the International Association of Functional Neurology and Rehabilitation. Yeah, long. So if you see this area that kind of looks like a hearing aid, this is what's called the basal ganglia. The basal ganglia. Let's just kind of go like, draw it like this, okay? Basal. Basal ganglia. Now the basal ganglia is also a motor area. It's also motor or muscle. When we say affirmations, but this is the key component, because right here is the amygdala, that's the emotional component of the brain. The emotions, when you say an affirmation with emotion, it fires up that center of motor. And it goes and says, go and do something. Fires up motor and just boom, it lights it up. That's what we see on functional MRI. So when you say an affirmation, guess what? Here's your answer. It does work. It's scientifically proven now that yes, it does work. It fires up the basal ganglia. It fires up the nucleus accumbens. When you just say it, the nucleus accumbens says it. When you say it with passion, with emotion, it fires up the basal ganglia and it says, go and do something. Is that cool? I was so excited when I found that because so many people said it doesn't work. It does. It fires up that basal ganglia that says go and do. Now, here's the key that I just said. When you say it with emotion, when you say it with movement and more stimulus, it fires it up in a greater way. You also fire up the precentral gyrus, which is also motor. So I'm going to give to you the key components. Again, just as a review, motor, sensory, nucleus accumbens. When we say an affirmation, it fires in the nucleus accumbens. That is your pleasure center, one of your pleasure centers. Look it up. Also, you have your basal ganglia. This is the thalamus. On both sides, the basal ganglia. The basal ganglia is another motor area. When we say affirmations with feeling, with emotion, right here's the amygdala. That emotion, it fires up and it blasts through and it allows then for change. I'm going to give you the answer now to truly, and I've created an acronym, SMASH it, to truly smash it with your affirmations. When you do your affirmations, and as I've just kind of explained and demonstrated to you, and now we know because of functional MRI, and it's been proven, people like that. We were already doing it, but people love to have proof. I want you to see. I want you to see what it is, the affirmation you're doing. So, for example, what I'll do is if I say, I am powerful, and I just moved, I'll usually say, I am powerful. As you declare something, and what I'll do is I'll say it, and oftentimes I'll see myself. I'll see myself being powerful. I'll see myself with my little daughter and being completely present, completely engaged. That I'm just laser focused. I'm just right there with her. See it. The next, of course, would be movement. So movement. Have you ever seen me do any movement? Yes. You know, you see me moving all around. When you say, I'm powerful, I'm enthusiastic, and you're happy, boom, what that does is it fires it up in more areas of the brain. So create movement in your body. Create movement. This type of movement allows then you to smash it or function on a higher level or to unlearn faster. Remember I told you about Avi Peled's research? We learn it. It takes 4 times longer to unlearn. Unlearn it faster. This is the way you do it. Then the next one would be auditory. Now you say, well, yeah, you're hearing it all the time. This is what I do for auditory. So I'm looking and I'll stimulate all my auricular my ears. So I'll go and I'll just stimulate it, you know. I'll say, I am a great dad. I am a great dad. You know, I'm the world's best dad. And I'll just fill my ears and I'll stimulate my ears because that stimulates auditory sensation. Again, it's giving more stimulus to the brain. As you're doing that, that'll now light up in a greater way the auditory area. Next area would be sensory. You feel. Feel it. Just feel. How do you feel? I actually put my hands right here, and I feel. I just get in there and I feel. I feel the vibration. Right now as I'm speaking, I can feel the vibration. I'm a great dad. I love to share. I can do this. I can be better. I can contribute. I can give back. I can share. I'm an excellent receiver and an excellent giver. See that? So sensory, feel. And the last area, and this is one of the things that I love about positive psychology and what we call eudaimonic or well-being, what Aristotle coined the phrase of eudaimonia or eudaimonic, this sense of happiness. Being happy. Oh, being happy. You know, positive is so much more powerful than negative. It's been proven. Go and look at the functional MRI scans. But positive, when you are happy, when you put that smile on your face, it fires throughout the brain. It releases neurotransmitters and neurochemicals that tell the brain to go and do something great. So go out and smash it today. Again, see it. Great, large, massive amounts of movement. Auditory, sensory, and feel it. Really feel it. And feel it in your heart and feel the vibration as you're speaking it. And then be happy as you say your affirmations or declarations. As you do that, it stimulates in a greater way the brain. This beautiful brain that we all have. Now it's time to go and change. Speed that learning process up by unlearning it so that you can have it nailed in, dialed in, so that you can go forth and live in fullness every day. I'm Dr. Neil.